Jonathan Lee Riches investigates. I am in the community of Milan, Tennessee. A tragedy and mystery occurred in this community October 12th, 1991, along with another community just north of here, Atwood, Tennessee. Two young females were murdered within 30 minutes of one another. 20-year-old Kathy Stoots and 23-year-old Tammy Tidwell. Both of them worked at video stores. Kathy worked at a video store here, and Tammy worked in a video store in Atwood. And within 30 minutes of one another, both were brutally murdered. Whoever did this out there, they're not caught. The case is unsolved. It's a mystery. A lot of speculation out there on who did these crimes. There's talk about inmates from Oklahoma that escaped and made their way this way and did a crime spree in numerous states. There's other talk of another inmate that recently died in a jail near here that could have been involved. But the case is unsolved to this day. Both Tammy and Kathy had children, young children themselves. What happened here? October 12th, 1991. On October 12th, 1991 was the night that forever changed the lives of two West Tennessee families. Kathy Mays Stoots went into work that night at J&W Video in Milan, Tennessee. Somebody came in and made her lay on the floor and shot her execution style, and they got $150 out of the drawer. The victim's mother, Martha Mays, told the media. She was just 20 years old at the time of her murder. The video store was torn down a few years after her murder. Now a car lot sits where the store once was. Tammy Tidwell was working as a clerk just a few miles away at Country Oasis Video Store in Atwood, Tennessee, that same night. She was also robbed and shot execution style about 30 minutes after Kathy was murdered. Tammy was 23 years old when she passed away October 15th, 1991, from injuries sustained from the robbery and shooting. Kathy and Tammy were familiar with each other. We have been told that they communicated by phone while working in order to help customers find movies they were looking for. The big question here is who murdered them and why? Could the robbery have been a cover-up for another reason? Dennis Reese and Michael St. Clair were named as potential suspects soon after the murders. September 19th, 1991, Reese and St. Clair escaped from the Bryan County Jail in Durant, Oklahoma, where they were both being held for separate murder charges. During their time on the run, they took... I am told that this used to be J&W Video in Milan, Tennessee, but it's now a new location. Looks like it's a car lot now. Kathy Stoots, 20 years old, murdered here, October 12th, 1991. Then, just further up, a few miles, Atwood, Tammy Tidwell, murdered. She also worked at a video store. What happened here? I am in Milan, Tennessee, a murder mystery. Who did this crime? Okay, so this was the old J&W Video Store. It is now a car lot. Going to take you now up the road a few miles to where Tammy Tidwell was found at the Country Oasis video store. It is now a convenience store. So we're going to take you on a journey and also share a little bit about the two escaped inmates from Oklahoma as possible suspects in this case. Convicted murderer Michael St. Clair, 34, and murder suspect Dennis Reese, 31 at the time, were being investigated for a possible connection to the deaths of these two women, shot and robbed in separate Tennessee video stores. So these two stores were relatively close to one another. Did Michael St. Clair and Dennis Reese murder these two women? Let me tell you a little bit about Dennis Reese and Michael St. Clair. In September of 1991, Michael St. Clair was sentenced to 3 life terms in prison for 2 murders, and St. Clair was involved in drug trafficking. When he learned that his uncle Ronnie was attempting to steal some of his customers, he hired a man to murder his uncle. After Ronnie was killed, St. Clair killed the hitman, William Kesley Jr. Then on September 19, 1991, St. Clair and another prisoner named Dennis Reese, who was awaiting trial in a beating and strangulation death, escaped from the Bryan County Jail in Durant, Oklahoma, and soon went on a murderous crime spree over 8 different states. 2 days after the escape, newspaper reporter Tom Mullins received a call from St. Clair. The fugitive stated that he would not be taken alive and that he would kill any law enforcement officer that tried to apprehend him. 3 weeks later, on the evening of October 8th, near Elizabethtown, Kentucky, a state trooper pulled over a pickup truck which was seen fleeing from a burning vehicle. As the truck pulled over, the passenger, St. Clair, got out of the vehicle and fired at the state trooper. Fortunately, this trooper was not injured. Just minutes later, the truck was found abandoned on the side of the interstate. Reese had tried to cross the interstate and when doing so, blew out his front tires. The truck was determined to belong to 55-year-old Kentucky resident Francis Frank Brady, who had vanished 12 hours earlier after cashing a check at a convenience store. His body was later found about 12 miles north of Elizabethtown. Francis was handcuffed and had been shot execution style in the back of the head. Interestingly, Francis was murdered in a nearly identical fashion as St. Clair's uncle Ronnie was killed years prior. Authorities discovered that vehicle that St. Clair and Reese had set fire to belonged to 21-year-old Denver paramedic named Timothy Wayne Keeling. Like Francis, Timothy had vanished after patronizing a convenience store. His body was found in a roadside ditch outside Clayton, New Mexico. He was believed to have been murdered on September 27th, 5 days after firing on state troopers. St. Clair and Reese apparently struck again. 2 men matching their description robbed and executed a video store clerk named Kathy Stoots in Milan, Tennessee, where I just showed you. 30 minutes later, the same 2 men robbed another video store just 8 miles away in Atwood, Tennessee. They also killed this store clerk, Tammy Tidwell. After these murders, St. Clair and Reese disappeared and not been seen since. Eventually, St. Clair was apprehended in December 19th, 1991 in Hugo, Oklahoma. Reese was arrested in Las Vegas, Nevada on January 5th, 1992. Reese and St. Clair were both convicted in the murder of Francis Brady. Reese was sentenced to life in prison while St. Clair was sentenced to death. But are these 2 individuals involved with the murders of Kathy Stoots and Tammy Tidwell? Still unsolved, still cold. What happened here? Who's involved? Let me know what you think. I am covering this case.
I come down here and got gas.
So, you were saying it was right here?
Laying there between where that ice cream stuff.
Was she, do you know anything, any details or anything? Like she was like...
As far as I know, they said they tried to, they would know more about it. What, they tried to rob her?
No, yeah, they robbed, but they never did know. Went to Milan and killed another.
Yeah, I think they were at Milan first and then they came here.
No, they did her first. And then
Now, I think they did sell videos in here.
Yeah. So you're saying they came here first?
That's what I was told. Do you know anything about these ladies? That lady that got killed in the store years ago?
Oh, yeah.
They
91.
killed her first, didn't they? And they killed the other one in Milan after. He's
Yeah.
doing her like a thing on it.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what happened, though. They killed some lady here, then they went to Milan.
Yeah.
So they went here first, then
That's
Milan.
right, they was
Okay.
here first. That's right. I just got filled my truck up. It wasn't 30 minutes, boy, and I heard the lights. I ran down here.
Yeah, they suspect inmates from a prison out or jail out in Oklahoma maybe did it, but then they're also saying possibly an inmate here.
Who done it? Some son of a bitch right here in Atwood.
Somebody would know here.
I guarantee it was.
Yeah.
That was too damn good. They went down there and they got away. Hell, probably one of these big shots up there in Atwood. That's what I think.
Yeah.
About it.
Okay,
never
guys.
know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
But hey, it was something funny about that. Never did find out who done this. Funny. That was funny.
So does you live here?
Huh?
You live here?
I
What's your
lived
name?
Here 35 years.
Is crime
Doug Dixon.
Doug Dixon? Nice to meet you. I'm Jonathan. Does crime occur a lot around here? Like does murders occur around here very often?
See, they didn't have no police here.
None.
None. The hell, the town won't let them have no police here. Them too many crooks live here in Carroll County.
Wow. So what, they would just have like county sheriffs here?
Yeah, they got one in Huntington, 17 miles. Well, you can rob half Atwood before Huntington gets here, couldn't you?
Yeah. And I see the county line is like right there.
Right.
So somebody could just go right into the next county.
It's a messed up bunch here. I'm gonna tell you.
Really?
It sure is. They need to make a report of a lot of things here.
Thank you for your time.
You put me on TV, I don't care.
Good.
tell the truth.
What would you like to see changed? Anything?
Yeah, a lot of stuff needs change here in Atwood.
What's going on in Atwood?
Water bills, the mayor was stealing. And that time
What was the mayor doing?
They're stealing up here. Damn water bills went to ridiculous price. Mine runs around $60 to $70 a month.
Wow.
Ridiculous. Over them stealing. You remember that water bill was going on up here? The water department had.
I don't recall myself.
Yeah, they went on there. They got rid of Marshall.
Well, thank you for your time.
Marshall first, then they got rid of the mayor. He run out of the mayor, and he's too old to run anyway.
Yeah.
And you know what? They so ignorant up here. I went in that shitty hall, I called it. To pay my water bill.
Yeah.
You know what I told them?
How much has it gone up in the last couple of years? A lot?
Oh, yeah. Well, mine didn't, because I was getting stole anyway.
Yeah.
The big shots was paying the minimum, and the poor people or living people was paying whatever.
Yeah.
That's just the way it worked here. And I went in that day. I told the mayor, I said, my bill's just too high. You'll be using 7,000 gallons. Ain't no way. Average household.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't care if they're seeing me on TV. I tell them.
So I'm told that Tammy was murdered here first. So, but it was in this store here. It was in this store here. She said it was right there on the floor there. What happened? What happened here in this county? And the county line is right there. The county line there. Somebody there just said, no, it was here first, then back that way. Or it was there, then back this way. So. Gibson County, Carroll County. They're conflicting because someone else in their car said, no, it was down there first and then here, and then the other people were saying here, then there. So I don't know. I'm out in the field. JLR, boots on the ground. If you have any information about this case, contact authorities. Hopefully the families can get some closure. I am in Milan and Atwood, Tennessee. Everyone be safe. God bless.